and it's all about advancement and covering up problems, and they don't have the backs of guys. Rules of engagement are a huge problem, as you know.
You know, guys, for quite some time now, I have been saying that the United States of America, well, we have become the bad guy. We are becoming another pariah, just like Russia, on the world stage. And it seems like with each passing day under this administration, that evidence and that story only becomes more clear. And it is to the point now where we are even having to contemplate whether our Secretary of Defense is committing war crimes off the coast of Venezuela. All because this administration decided, without congressional approval, that they were going to start blowing boats out of the water based on a faulty premise that these tiny little fishing boats were bringing hordes of drugs to our country's shores. Except they have not provided any evidence that that was actually happening. So I want to go ahead and give you a quick overview of what is going on down in the Caribbean waters right now. And then I want to show you how this administration is responding to these allegations and how they are even throwing some of our military members right under the bus. If you guys do appreciate my work and want to support the show, please do remember to subscribe. We are trying to make it to 30,000 subscribers before the end of the year.
War crimes and whether Pete Hegseth committed one. The Pentagon strikes on alleged boats in the Caribbean. They are raising serious alarms from both sides of the aisle tonight. Despite a debate about whether the administration has the authority to even strike the boats, 22 of them have been sunk. More than 80 people killed in those strikes. And now the reports seem to indicate that one of those strikes left no survivors. And a follow-up strike or a double tap was ordered to kill everyone on board that craft. Both Republicans and Democrats are arguing that at best, a second strike is illegal, and at worst, it's a war crime.
If it was as if the article said, that is a violation of the law of war. When people want to surrender, you don't kill them.
If that reporting is true, it's a clear violation of the DOD's own laws of war, as well as international laws. So this rises to the level of a war crime.
Obviously, if that occurred, that would be very serious, and I agree that would be an illegal act.
If the facts are as have been alleged, that there was a second strike specifically to kill the survivors in the water, that's a stone-cold war crime. It's also murder.
So I want to stipulate right up front, guys, that we have not yet seen the video of this so-called double tap that went on down off the coast of Venezuela. But if the reporting is true, our Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, could be tried for murder or even a war crime. Because when you incapacitate somebody on the battlefield, if you blow up somebody's boat, and they are no longer posing a threat to your guys or to your military, and they are clinging to life to floating remains of the boat that was just destroyed, you are not allowed to just circle back and execute those people. And that's not even to mention whether or not these strikes in particular are legal in the first place. There is no rationale that the Trump administration has given to Congress that would even make these strikes okay in the first place. They are operating under a theory that, because we designated these narco-terrorists as terrorist organizations, well then Donald Trump has the go-ahead to do whatever the fuck he wants. That is the premise that they are operating under. And this is why I say we have become the bad guys. What we are doing down in the Caribbean right now, killing more than 80 people, blowing 20 boats out of the water, that type of shit is not okay. This is not what the United States military should be engaged in. And when you put incompetent buffoons like Pete Hegseth at the top of that military, it's no wonder that they might be engaged in some pretty bad shit. And I want to remind everybody that this is what Hegseth was saying just a couple of years ago about how all of these military lawyers, well, they just need to get the fuck out of the way.
You've got to do it along all three levels. I mean, tactically, first of all, you have to untie the hands of warfighters, get the lawyers off the front lines or off the backs of guys. There's always going to be Army lawyers. I get it. But they need to be defending our troops more than trying to prosecute them and creating all these complicated laws that say, even in a civilian environment, in a complex neighborhood, if you kill one civilian, you're the bad guy. You can't fight and win a war that way.
So basically what he is saying, guys, is that our military should be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do. That is not how rules of engagement work. That is not how DOD's own policy is set up. There are rules to these things. And I know it might sound a bit counterintuitive because we are so-called fighting the bad guy, we are fighting our enemy, but there are clear rules that we abide by. And it's not just about, protecting these so-called narco-terrorists. This is how we want our troops to be treated if we were on the battlefield. Just think about if that was one of your family members fighting for our military, their boat or their vessel is completely destroyed and they are clinging onto a life raft. Would it be okay? Would you think it was okay that the enemy circled back and executed them? In no world should that be okay. We live in it's what is supposed to be a democracy where we have rules, we have laws, and most of all, we are supposed to have an administration that aims to follow those laws. But this administration is not even getting close. They are viewing our Constitution and our laws as an impediment to whatever they want to do. Now, after these double tap allegations came out, you might be shocked that Pete Hegseth came out and responded, except you tell me whether or not he is denying that this occurred. He said, let's make one thing crystal clear. Admiral Mitch Bradley is an American hero, a true professional, and has my 100% support. I stand by him and the combat decisions he has made on the September 2nd mission and all others since. America is fortunate to have such men protecting us when this Department of War says we have the back of our warriors, we mean it. That certainly doesn't sound like a denial to me. That sounds like a Secretary of Defense who sees nothing wrong with ordering a double tap on a vessel that probably shouldn't have even been targeted in the first place. Now, how did Trump respond? He came out and tried to distance himself from this event.
There were a second strike that killed people even in the first strike. Were you thinking that would be illegal?
Number one, I don't know that happened. And Pete said he did not want them. He didn't even know what people were talking about. So we'll look into it. But no, I wouldn't have wanted that, not a second strike. The first strike was very lethal, it was mine, and if there were two people around, but Pete said that didn't happen.
Does that make you...
I have great confidence.
He's saying there's no second strike?
I don't know, I'm going to find out about it, but Pete said he did not order the death of those two men.
How is it possible that our commander-in-chief, the person who is supposed to be running our military, somebody who sits on top of our military, how is it possible that the President of the United States has no idea what the fuck is going on off the coast of Venezuela right now? Why does he never have the details of these scandals that keep popping up? Every single time he answers like this. Well, I don't know exactly what went on. All I know is what Pete told me after the fact. I really don't know. I'm probably gonna have to get to the bottom to it. But if you were to ask me, I don't think I would have want them to turn around and do that double strike because the first one was lethal enough. Would this be acceptable for any other president in this country? You guys know the answer to that. If Biden or Obama got up in front of the mic and tried to downplay it and say, oh, I don't really know anything about that, he would be torn to shreds, and rightfully so. Now, the crazier part about what this administration is doing is instead of putting forth some legal justification or at least a rational legal justification, here's what Caroline Leavitt had to say about that strike when she was asked about it in a recent press event.
In his social media post, Secretary Hegseth didn't go into details about that strike. He just said U.S. operations in the area were lawful, and he said that the story and media reports were fabricated. So to be clear, Does the administration deny that that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
The latter is true, Abe, and I have a statement to read for you here. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law.
So to summarize, guys, you've got a story that comes out in the Washington Post that alleges that there was a double tap, which is circling back on an enemy that is already down and executing that person. You've got that story that comes out. You've got a Secretary of Defense who comes out and says, I support our troops. I back them 100% as he throws Admiral Bradley under the bus, saying that it was actually him who was making the decisions there, but I authorized him to make those decisions. So he's kind of trying to distance himself from it. He's kind of not. And then you've got Donald Trump just fully trying to distance himself from it. And then you've got Caroline Leavitt coming out and saying that actually, guys, yeah, we carried out the strike. And because Donald Trump designated these people as narco-terrorists, well, then they were operating with authority and they were operating under the law. And when she's asked, well, what law could you reference where this type of strike would be legal? Check out what she has to say.
Following up on Gabe's question, you said that the follow-up strike was lawful. What law is it that allows no survivors?
The strike conducted on September 2nd was conducted in self-defense to protect Americans in vital United States interests. The strike was conducted in international waters and in accordance with the law of armed conflict.
So when she's asked, what law are you guys operating under that would, that would make this strike okay? And all she can say was, this was carried out in international waters, and we did it in accordance with the law of armed conflict. What the fuck does that even mean? What they are saying to you guys is they don't know what law they are actually operating on that would make this double tap true or legal. Because by all accounts, like I said, if this reporting turns out to be true and if this video is released where you've got two people hanging on for dear life floating in the middle of the ocean and you have our military circling back and executing those people, there is no law that they could cite that would make that okay without other variables in place. Maybe if there was some ship that was within striking distance that could come pick up these people, I don't even know if that would be legal. But maybe there's some wild scenarios that you can concoct that would make this strike okay. But by all the reporting that we have now, it appears as though our Secretary of Defense and maybe even the Admiral Bradley that carried out these strikes might be guilty of a war crime. At the very least, this would be murder, guys. So again, I say, the United States of America has become the bad guy. And it gives me no pleasure in saying that. We used to be a respected country all around the world, and now we are turning into one of these tin pot dictatorships that tries to do whatever the fuck that they want to do without having any respect for any set of laws. Donald Trump and his administration aren't even abiding by our own Constitution, much less international law or the law of armed conflict or the Geneva Convention. All of that is just pushed to the side because this administration thinks that they can do whatever it is the fuck that they want to do. And if a lawyer stands up and says, hey, we don't do that here, that is against the law, they do not give a shit. Not only does this make us the bad guy on the world stage? We have allies who won't even share intelligence with us anymore because of the strikes that are happening off the coast of Venezuela. Because it seems pretty clear to so many people that they are war crimes. that what they are doing by blowing ships out of the water based on a faulty premise of a whole bunch of drugs being smuggled into the United States doesn't seem to pass muster, or whatever the fucking saying is. I'm a little worked up at this point. We have our allies not sharing intelligence anymore because it's pretty clear to them that we are breaking the law. We have an administration that shows no fealty to our Constitution, to our rule of law, to the rule of armed conflict. They don't even care about the Department of Defense's own rules. They just think they can go out there and do whatever they want to do. These are not your law and order people. This is not your law and order president. This is not your law and order administration. This is the most corrupt administration that we have ever seen. And now we are becoming a pariah on the world stage because Donald Trump wants to act like and feel like a big, bad, tough guy and is ordering our military to go do illegal shit in the Caribbean. It is insane that this is where we are at in the United States of America. So, I will leave it there for now, guys. If you do like this video, don't forget to smash that like button, feed that algorithm, hit that subscribe button. We are trying to reach 30,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I would very much appreciate your support. If you find value to what I do here, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. If you guys want to go a step above and beyond that and actually help me produce these videos, you can sign up as a member right here on YouTube by hitting that little join button below. You can become a member for just $3 a month, I believe it is, or you can head over to Substack, which is politiscape.substack.com, and you can have my content delivered every single day without the doom scrolling and the algorithms that we have to deal with on these other platforms. I also want to remind everybody that the Unfuck America Tour is heading to Phoenix, Arizona on December 20th. We have a big event out there to rival AmFest. So hit that link in my bio below to purchase tickets to that event. You're going to see Adam Mockler and Destiny there. You're going to see other Unfuck America creators there. It's going to be one hell of a time. We're going to have some open dialogue and debate. Use that link in my bio to purchase tickets. If you guys want to go a step above and beyond that and help support the Unfuck America Tour by signing up to volunteer, you can do that using the link below as well. And if you want to help me get down to that Phoenix event, I need to raise a little bit of money to get down to the event. You can use that link in my bio to also donate, which would help me make the trip down there. So until the next one, guys, everybody keep your chin up. Let's do better than what this administration is doing to our country, huh? We got to win the midterms. That's all I can keep on thinking. We got to win those midterms. I'll see you on the next one.